I do not miss our old church Advent wreath. Not that it wasn't gorgeous. For 30 years, our church had this lovely big brass Advent wreath. But here's the thing. It hung on a chain from the top rafters. And someone had to go up that extension ladder every year to hang it up at the peak of the roof. That someone was me. And I have to tell you the truth, I'm really scared of heights. But I did it. Every year I did it. And partly that was because I didn't want anyone else going up that ladder that high. But the biggest reason, mostly, it was because I wanted to conquer my fear. I did not conquer my fear. I controlled it, but I never conquered it. Now, I had promised my wife that I would never go up and hang the Advent wreath unless there was someone here watching me from the floor. So a couple of years ago, the one who watched me from the floor was the spouse of a vestry member. And she watched me and then she said, "That's it. You're too old to be doing this. I'm telling." And apart from the age reference, I felt like I was back in elementary school. I'm telling. She told on me. And after that, the vestry chose to get a beautiful new Advent wreath made of brass using memorial funds. And this one is on the floor. I really love Advent wreaths. When I was a little boy, it was an important December ritual in our home. Every Sunday night, we would light the appropriate number of candles on the wreath, and we would say some prayers together. And my dad, who was a professional jazz pianist, would sit at the piano, and we would all sing Christmas songs. This is one of my treasured childhood memories. Now, in the past, most Advent wreaths had purple candles, but blue for Advent has now become popular. Blue is the color most often associated with the Virgin Mary. And Advent is the time we think about Mary as she awaits the birth of her baby boy. So blue has become our Advent color. But the color of the candle for the third Sunday of Advent is pink. That's the extra special candle for Mary, the mother of Jesus. Now together we just recited, antiphonally, the Canticle of Mary, the Magnificat it's called. It's Mary's song. And her song celebrates the fierce love of God. It's the song of God's care for the least and the little and the lowly. That's what Mary sings. God turns power itself upside down. God raises up the underdogs. God blesses. God feeds. God helps. That's what Mary sings. And this pink candle is hers. Now, in a way, my daughter is named for her. We chose the name Marie for our daughter, which is the French version of the name Mary. We thought it would go very well with our last name, which is French. And also my grandmother's name was Marie. Now, because of my daughter's disability, my Marie has taught me a great deal about love and about suffering. Well, Mary, the mother of Jesus, knew all about love and suffering. My Marie used to love candles. Even as a little girl, she loved to walk into candle stores and sniff the candles. She called it aromatherapy. I mean, even as a little kid with disability, she always had a great vocabulary, aromatherapy. She loved candles, and she loves her mom. And one time, her group home staff let her pick out a gift to give to her mom. Marie picked out a large pink candle in a jar, scented like a rose. And she gave it to her mom. And they loved to sniff this candle together. They loved to light this candle together. They loved sharing that candle, and they called it the love candle. It was a treasure in our home as long as it lasted, the love candle. So when I see the pink candle on the Advent wreath, I always think of it as the love candle. It's my Marie's candle. It's Mary's candle. Now, back in the early years of the church, they were trying to figure out exactly who this Jesus was. And while they did that, they were also trying to figure out who Mary, his mother, was. And they eventually decided that in some mysterious way, Jesus was divine. Well, what does that say about his mother? After all, she bore him in her womb for 9 months. So they decided to give her a title as well. And they called her Theotokos. That's the Greek term for God-bearer. Mary was the mother who carried this divine child in her own body. Mary was the mother who first held this child in her arms. Mary was the first to love this child and to teach this child to love others. Theotokos may sound like an ancient and dry theological title, but you know, it says something pretty amazing. It says that God had a mommy. Christianity says that the love of God is like the love of a mother with a child in her arms. God holds you the way Mary held Jesus, in loving maternal arms. This is the love we celebrate during Advent and Christmas. Now, I know some of us here today are fairly grizzled. I am no child anymore. But the little boy I once was is still inside me somewhere. And in fact, the baby boy held in the loving arms of Mary Ellen Giroux is still part of me somehow. And it's true for you, too. The child you were, the baby you were, is still part of you. And you are still, to this day, held in the loving, motherly arms of God, your Creator. You are held, you are cherished, you are loved by the God who is both Father and Mother, the God who created you out of love, the God who will never let you go. Like a candle, you are light. You shine in the darkness. You are a sign of hope. And it's all because of the love of God within you. Maybe we're not a bonfire. Maybe we don't spread all that much light or warmth. But we can be candles. So be a candle. Spread a little light and warmth because of God's flame that is in you. Remember the pink candle of the third Sunday of Advent. A pink candle is a silent, sacred sign. It's the love candle. So be a candle.